right, folks, welcome in. We are Great Locker Room Guys, and we have another amazing show for you guys today. If you are just tuning in, if this is the first episode you are catching for us, we talk a different Chicago sports team every week. This week, we are talking two Chicago sports teams because the NFL draft, the NFL schedules have started leaking out here. They're going to get fully released at 8 p.m. tonight, but we wanted to go through what has been leaked for the Chicago Bears already. And then for the second half of this episode, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bulls, the NBA draft lottery, some crazy stories coming out with the Bulls and the number one overall pick. And then we're also going to talk about what prospects we think fit the Chicago Bulls team at where they're picking. First off, though, I wanted to head back to the NFL schedule release. Today is one of the best holidays, I think, for sports fans, NFL fans specifically. People love the schedule release for some reason. These teams love dropping the videos. What is like the best schedule release video you guys have ever seen?
Wasn't it the one with the New York Jets where I don't know if it was a schedule release, but I'm pretty sure it was. But like, it was like a Addison Rae dance, and then they had like a football coming out of her ass.
I do not remember that.
It was like during quarantine, so like everyone was like just on TikTok and like she like flexed like her butt. Like someone snapped a football out of it. It was kind of cool.
I'm looking this up now because I gotta see what.
I don't know if it was Addison Rae, but it was like some TikTok.
It was the New York Jets and it was Addison Rae. They posted it for half an hour and then deleted it.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, yeah. I don't know if I've seen one yet. Like today, I remember. Didn't the Bears do something like back to school or something last year?
That was last year. Yep.
Yeah, whatever they do usually sucks. Like they have the activity of like my left nut.
Well, but now it's the Ben Johnson era. It's a new. Honestly, we're getting cool videos now.
Honestly, like he should just run the entire organization. Everyone else is just inept.
I think that's the only reason he comes to Chicago is if they promise him he can run the entire organization.
Like if he like does ever lead us to the promised land, we need to build like that area of Chicago where it's like all like the old world stuff from like the Chicago Fair. There's like those like buildings that like you're in Italy. Like we need to build like an 80-foot like golden statue of Ben Johnson.
yes.
Like I'm down type shit. Yeah,
dude. Yeah, no. He's gonna be honestly the. Could you guys imagine though? Like, God forbid, knock on wood. But could you guys imagine if Johnson sucked ass and it was like the biggest letdown?
This is like if Ben Johnson sucks, no matter what we ever do ever again. It will suck. This is our last.
He is our last. That's what I was saying, bro. Like I said the same thing. Like once we hired him, I'm like, if we suck now with this team, with Ben Johnson, with Caleb, with the rest of the guys we got, we'll never be good. Like we're destined to be shit forever. Because
this is the one time where we didn't pick like a Make-A-Wish kid to be our head coach. Like everyone, like with the whole NFL, when we hired Eberflus, everyone was like, why were they that high on him? The Colts were just about to fire him. He didn't make it past the first round interviews anywhere else. And like they gave him one interview and it was just like, yes, this is the man we need to lead our organization right here.
The Chicago Bears, right?
It's the same organization that hired Mark Trestman, a Canadian football coach that hadn't coached in the NFL for like 5 seasons, was awful when he did coach in the NFL. I mean, what do you expect from them? I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Johnson's first year is a little bit shaky after seeing the first couple of games that they've released for this Bears schedule. Actually, not just the first couple of games, every single one, but one of the games has been announced. That is the game at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. But I wanted to go through what has been leaked for the Chicago Bears team. None of this is for sure yet, but this is as close as it gets to being for sure for a lot of these. Most of these schedules end up being completely right whenever they update these tonight at 8 p.m. Again, when a lot of the schedules are going to start coming out. In week 1, this is the big game that the NFL actually has confirmed so far for the Chicago Bears. They will be taking on the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football in week 1. Nate, you were talking about before the show here that you are pretty excited about this game here.
Oh my gosh, dude, I'm ecstatic because here's the thing. There is no pressure. Yeah, of course people are going to be like, yeah, it's the Bears home opener, Ben Johnson, new team. But the pressure is completely on the Vikings with J.J. McCarthy. His first game is going to be on Monday night, primetime football. Like it is going to be electric. And I love that we're playing. It's going to be prime time. So it's going to be, everybody's going to see it nationally. And we'll get into it, like you said, Charlie, but I think it's really telling how many national games or primetime games they have so far. And it shows that the NFL has a lot of faith in them, which is good signs.
Definitely, definitely. Sakleh, we go into the second game on the schedule here. The Chicago Bears are going to be taking on the Detroit Lions in week 2 in Detroit. How do you feel about facing two divisional opponents right away in the first 2 weeks of the season?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, obviously, those are one of your two biggest rivals other than the Packers, but I mean, that's a rough way to start the season. I think the Vikings, no one realized how much better they got this offseason with signing the two linemen, Fries and Kelly from the Colts. They signed Jonathan Allen. I low-key I think J.J. McCarthy's better than Sam Darnold right now. I'm very high on J.J. McCarthy. I think he played in a very pro-ready system. He had the entire year to learn the system. I think he's going to be very good, barring his knee injury. Maybe that. I don't know how much that took out of him. Then you're going to go up against a pissed-off Detroit Lions team because, obviously Ben Johnson left and took half the staff with him. I do think Detroit – I think they're going to start declining now just because I feel Goff doesn't have his, boogeyman with him, Ben Johnson. But, I mean, hey, if we can find a way to win both those games, I mean, that sets us up perfectly the rest of the season. 2-0 the division to start the year. I mean, the opportunity is there. If we want to be good this year – If this is our year because we're the offseason champ 7 years in a row, then you got to go win at least one of those to start the year.
No, I totally agree. And I think for the Vikings, I agree. I think JJ McCarthy will be better than Sam Darnold, but the Vikings went 13 wins last year. I think the Vikings would be very happy if they get 10 this year. You know what I mean? Or even 9, with a rookie quarterback, coming off an injury like that. I'm with you, Alex. I'm a JJ McCarthy fan too. He's literally he's literally from 10 minutes down the street.
Yeah.
So
he's our quarterback.
yeah, no,
Nice
dude,
white man from Illinois. This would have been great.
Yeah, he's
The old heads at the bar would have been drooling over that.
100%.
I had a drunken conversation one time with this guy who talked to me for 15 minutes about Tyson Bagent, for Christ's sake.
Ooh. And that guy knew nothing about Tyson Bagent other than he was a white dude who just
he knew every single detail of that kid's life.
Every single detail?
Yes. He was like, I love Caleb, but Bagent's the guy. So imagine what they do with JJ McCarthy.
It'd be electric.
I almost played high school football with JJ McCarthy.
That'd be
badass.
Nice.
Because they recruited me, but I was like, I'm not fucking paying it.
I'm not gonna lie. Seriously though, Caleb, I have Caleb over anybody in this league. I wouldn't want even like we said last week, starting a team, but literally we got him for probably the next 14 years. If he's good, he's gonna be good. We know he's gonna be good. But
he was good last year. People always
that's what I'm saying.
His season last season.
Yeah, he was good with it. Yeah, honestly, if you put any rookie quarterback in that class, and this class, in my opinion, might go down as the best quarterback class of all time. It might, at the end of the day.
These guys actually performed. It wasn't like the 2021 class where we were saying that. Everyone flopped.
That was because I'm saying. Exactly. But all those guys are in this class or last class were ballers. But it's you put any other of those quarterbacks in Caleb's shoes this year, and they are not doing half of what he did. It's he had to carry the team as a rookie. He had
like wide receiver playing quarterback.
Yeah, it was no. I don't know. There's just no guide, no team. It was just bad. So I feel just going around, this is just going to be light years this year. 4,000 yards. This will finally be the year. The Bears hit that. I think if he stays healthy.
I hope so. When I look at JJ McCarthy and this Vikings team, I don't know if I'm as high on JJ McCarthy as you guys are. I don't know if I'm even really close to where you guys are on JJ McCarthy, who I am.
Well, I just want to be clear. I'm in the mix. I'm not like I said, I think he might be eventually better than Darnold, but I don't think he's going to be for a long, Darnold last year was pretty damn good. But
the reason Darnold was as good as he was last year is because the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, is there. And that's who I believe in for this team and for that organization. And that's why I don't feel like they're going to take that much of a step back. Last season, they were supposed to take that step back, and they just did not. They didn't have the same type of players on defense. Their defensive back room was brand new. They lost Daniil Hunter and switched him out for Jonathan Grenard, and were in hopes that that would work out, changing situations like that, which usually doesn't for pass rushers. A lot of those guys falter once they leave where they were initially drafted from or playing with. They added that in. And then Brian Flores is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. All that stuff is still there. That they're going to have different names in that cornerback room, but the talent is going to be pretty equivalent. This is going to be a lot harder of an opening week than I think a lot of people are giving it credit for. And I think a lot of people are super high on the Chicago Bears team, and I see why. I think Caleb Williams, like we're saying, is going to be phenomenal. I think the wide receiver room has improved this offseason. The offensive line is completely different, and I love it. This is the first time that I've been in love with a Bears offensive line since Mitch Trubisky was talking about Kyle Long and Cody Whitehair in that group. All those dudes that they signed, Charles Leno Jr. I still have that shirt, man. I still rock that shirt. I love it. It's one of my favorites. This is the most excited I felt about the Chicago Bears team. But I think that's what gives me the biggest worry about these first 2 weeks is that if they do go into these first 2 weeks and drop them, I get a little worried because then I'm going to start feeling like the Packers fans did last season when they lost to the NFC North, where it's like you can be good enough to compete and get to the playoffs, but are you good enough to beat the top teams in the league? If they lose these first 2 games of the season, I think I get a little worried about that.
This is what I fear about the Bears. My fear, what worries me most about the Bears, more than anything, more than the O-line, more than Caleb, more than the schedule, more than anything, is their mental toughness. I have never seen a team let a early season bad loss, like against the Washington Commanders, in a game where, okay, we lose, we're 4-3, everything's still ahead of us. We have the Cardinals and Patriots next, where everything is still achievable. I have never seen a team let an early season game just derail an entire season like that. When this team gets hit, this whole Poles era, all these guys Poles brought in, when they get hit, they don't get back up. So I'm worried that if we look bad the first 2 weeks or we go 0-2, that season's over. That's what I'm worried about.
I think. I totally get what you guys are saying. I'm not as worried about week 1 as you guys are. Like I think that like we know what we have, and like here's the thing, like JJ McCarthy could have the best rookie year ever, but we don't know that. He could also have the shittiest rookie year ever.
Right.
Like Caleb's first game, he threw for like 87 yards. So it's like I'm not expecting a 200 plus debut from McCarthy, who hasn't played in a year and a half. Like I think the Bears are going to lock him up. And I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like I know it probably sounds biased, but I think the Bears are gonna blow the Vikings out week 1. I think week 2 is gonna be the big challenge. But at the same time, Ben Johnson, the minute he signed his ink to paper, his name to paper, that was probably the next thing on his mind was that, okay, Detroit, like I got to beat them. I guarantee that night he was thinking about plays. He was already, dude, the plays we're probably going to see week 2, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got to definitely have some shit up his sleeve. Like, and it's going to be good. Like, and I agree. Like, it is going to be tough, like, if we drop it. But at the same time, it's 1-1. You know what I mean? And then you go on. Like if they do go 0-2, then yeah, I'll feel like damn. Like especially in division, like that's gonna be can't start shittier than that. But I just cannot see like our team. The Vikings do have a great team, but you you can have the best team and you'll only go as far as the quarterback, and we don't know what he is yet. Like it's like the Steelers. The Steelers team is loaded. They don't have a quarterback. Like, who's going to play quarterback? Like, yeah, they could still sign Rodgers, but like, still, like, that's that shit. Like, the team's still not going to do anything. So I feel like if the Bears can even, I think that they could go 2-0. I think, 1-1's probably likely, but if we can edge out one of the games, get a win, if that's in Detroit or, Minnesota or Detroit, I think they're going to be looking solid. I feel like they're just going to keep their heads high. I definitely agree with you guys. The concern is like, I was actually just talking to my dad about it today, is like the morale of the team when things aren't going as good. Because of course, like we can't expect a perfect season, even if everything was great. Like some things are going to go wrong. So it's like, you're right. We have to see like how they're going to like be like, I don't know, kind of overcome that and kind of go from there. But like, I think that they got the right leaders around them now. And, we talked about, I think 2 episodes ago, about DJ Moore, how he'd taken off a play and he just kind of, that's not going to happen. I cannot see that ever happening again. Like now they got a good leader. Like if shit happens, like now they deal with it together. Like I feel like if it was before, like it was such a single show, like if shit was going wrong, like Caleb getting sacked, the offensive line was getting derailed, like and Eberflus, not that he was, going to stick up for those guys because they did play like shit, but it's like there was no team accountability at all. It was just like it was shit. So I feel like if they can get that going and overcome that, like we're gonna be looking really solid.
For sure, my man. All right, let's move on to the rest of this schedule here for the Chicago Bears, as it has been fully released now, at least by progrid.org. Not confirmed by the Chicago Bears yet, at least until 8 p.m. tonight. But the next 2 games on the schedule for the Chicago Bears, they are in Dallas in week 3. Dallas is in Chicago in week 3, and then they are at Las Vegas in week 4, followed by a week 5 bye week. How do you guys feel about having the bye week this early in the season? Week 5, would you prefer it's a little bit more in the middle, a little bit towards the end? Where would you put your bye week?
Fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely brutal, dude.
That
We
just
definitely
defeats the whole purpose of a bye week.
Yeah, it's seriously that like couldn't have been a worse bye week. Like I would much rather have it like I don't know, what's the last week you can have it? Like 14?
13,
14.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. So like yeah, like
14 with the new schedule with 18 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally 10 is the perfect, or whatever is in the middle. You know what I mean? That would be kind of perfect, but no, we definitely got screwed on that.
It's like the earliest one, I think.
Yeah, no, it is, dude. I think you're right. Yeah, the 5th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're sharing that bye week with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Green Bay Packers, and the Atlanta Falcons. It's a little strange that they have the Packers and Bears both having a bye week on the same week. I feel like you wouldn't want 2 divisional opponents to have a bye week.
Yeah, it is a little weird. I mean, that's it's funny we bring up Packers right now because that's a team like yeah, like you guys said, the Vikings got good signings. Detroit, I mean, I don't really know as much with them. I mean, they got good guys in the draft, I know that, but at the same time they did lose some guys as well. But the Bears, and obviously we know with them, but Green Bay, it's like the only thing like headline from this whole offseason is that they finally picked a receiver in the first round. You know what I mean? Like, and
Badly.
it's yeah. Wait, what was that, bro?
And a bad one, too.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
The
Exactly.
worst out of the first one in rounds, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's like and here's the thing too, is it is definitely not like it is not good team chem over there. And I think we're gonna see that with the Packers this year because the receivers over there, I mean, I remember Josh Jacobs, the starting running back, like the first week, I don't know, it was like actually it was like a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. But he's like, yeah, we got to get, a wide receiver one. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, but you don't say that in public. Like, you just totally bashed your team. Like, what do you, like, those guys, it's not like they're 28, 29. They're 23 years old. Like, they're still could be really good. Like, you can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not their fault. Like, Jaden Reed's good. Christian Watson, I don't really have as much faith in because he's always injured. Yeah, the dude's always injured. But Romeo Dobbs, too, he's a solid receiver. Like, they got some good guys.
So I talk Wisconsin sports for a living. I work at a radio station here in Milwaukee, and we talk the Packers, Brewers, Bucks all the time. With this Packers team and that wide receiver room, yes, they all are talented in their own way, but Jaden Reed has a huge drop problem and can't consistently run routes. Dontavian Wicks, who is their kind of semi wide receiver 3 at this point with Christian Watson out, he can go downfield, he can get downfield, get separation downfield, but he doesn't track balls well, and he doesn't really high point balls well. Christian Watson can't run a good route. He high points well, and he showed that last season that he can do that. I think with this, right, and sometimes he drops the ball too. This Packers team, yes, they have a lot of talent in that wide receiver room, but if those guys can't stay on the field or can't play consistently when they are on the field, I think you have to draft whatever the top wide receiver is in that draft class. I know they need help at defensive line too, defensive end, defensive tackle a little bit, but that's not priority. Wide receiver was what you needed to get for this team because you paid Jordan Love as much money as you did. So because you pay him as a top 5, top 10 quarterback in the NFL, you have to give him all the pieces, kind of the same way the Bears are doing with Caleb Williams. I think you draft a guy that high at number 1 overall, you have to give him basically zero excuses to be bad. And if he is not good this season, Caleb Williams, that is, with Luther Burden, with Roma Dunze on the second year, with one of the best tight end rooms in the league, according to a lot of people, that's going to be an issue. And I think you have to say the same thing about Jordan Love in Green Bay. Yes, his wide receivers may not be as talented, but damn it, he has one of the best running backs in the league. Josh Jacobs was phenomenal last season. If you watched any Packers games, that dude was just running over whoever. He does not get brought down on first contact ever. Their offensive line was phenomenal last season, and it got better this year because they signed a guy, Aaron Banks, a 6'6" offensive guard out of San Francisco who has been in that style of offense. Yes, Green Bay didn't make flashy moves, but they made moves that mattered for this team and would give Jordan Love the best chance to succeed, which I think is really important for that organization. Now, when it comes comparing it to the rest of the NFC North, though, the Lions took a step back. They lose both coordinators. I don't think Dan Campbell is as good of a coach without those two coordinators in Aaron Glenn and in Ben Johnson. The Vikings, like you guys have been saying, they're switching quarterbacks, but I still feel like they're going to be fine. Most of that team is essentially the same. The Bears took huge steps. Yeah, the Bears took huge steps with what they've done. This Packers team took steps too. It just doesn't match up on paper to those other teams, but it was the right moves to make.
No, see, I get what you're saying, and I agree. Like they definitely need a wide receiver one, but you don't like, I don't know, as the starting running back and want to be like one of the leaders, like you can't like bash your team like that. And the thing is too, is like the Packers still don't have, I mean, in their terms, they still don't have a wide receiver one. Their receiver room is completely the same.
Right.
And like we said, like, yeah, they drafted a dude from Texas, but he's not even supposed to be that good. So it's like, it's not like he's going to be wide receiver one. So it's like, I don't understand. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Green Bay is going to do that, like, because I agree with you 100%, Charlie. Like, you need to put the best supporting cast you can around your guy. Like, you have to, like, to get his maximum potential. But like, they still, like, they didn't do it. Like, yeah, they have Jacobs. Like, agree. Like, top 5 running back easily. But still, like, then they should trade for a receiver. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, if they're gonna roll with the same guys, like, yeah, I do think that they're decent. Like, I think the thing to point out too is that they are all like sub 25 years old. Like, most of them. I don't know about all of them, but I know most of them are. So it's like they could still be good. Like, I just don't want to underestimate the Packers to an extent where it's like they shock, everybody, and it's like, okay, damn, Packers are good again. Like, you know what I mean? Because they had a tough year. They did, but like this, I don't know. Like, there's something though. The one thing that I think holds them back is that, like I said, team chem. I don't think they have any team chemistry at all. And Jordan Love doesn't seem like a really outspoken leader. So I think we really got that going for us.
I don't think they have a quarterback.
Well, yeah, dude.
I think he's Black Trubisky, as I've been saying since 2020.
See, it's the thing is like Jordan Love sometimes makes plays where it's like, holy shit, like nobody else can make that throw. Like maybe one or two, but like it's like damn. But then like you're right, like then he has games where it's like he has 4 or 5 interceptions. I'm like, holy shit, this guy looks like ass. Like,
You don't
it's like
pay a
this
guy
guy's
$55 million to throw the ball 20 times a game.
That's what I was going to say. The other thing is like for how much he makes, yeah, he's been pretty ass. Like he's got to do better. So like I don't know, like but I agree with you. I definitely think at this point, ah, it's he would probably be third in the division in as a quarterback. Like, what do you guys think on that scale?
Third.
Yeah, probably. But
I
also don't.
ahead of Caleb, but we all know Caleb's better.
No, yeah. See, I have Caleb ahead. Like, I think it's like, yeah, no, it would probably be not being biased, probably Goff just to start because he was, up for MVP almost.
He was also atrocious in the last 4 weeks of the season, Jared Goff. Like,
well, see, here's the thing. Yeah, I would say Caleb 100%. I just don't want to sound like a homer. I know I totally do, but
I get that. I also think, though, that the gap between those 3 guys and even J.J. McCarthy to some extent, while I don't believe in him, I don't think any of these 4 dudes have proven, besides the Jared Goff, that they can play at an MVP caliber level for a full season. And even recent Jared Goff hasn't been able to do that. So, yeah, I think I would put Jordan Love at number 3 in my book right now, too. But at the same time, I think he could very easily jump to number 2 in the division. I think he could very easily jump to number 1 in the division this season if Caleb Williams doesn't take as big of a step as we expect him to, if J.J. McCarthy doesn't play that well, and Jared Goff takes a step back because he doesn't have Ben Johnson giving him the Jesus Christ plays all the time to help save him out. So right. I think right now the gap just isn't as big as a lot of people will make it out to be. Yes, Jordan Love, I don't think is worth the money that he got paid. Also, every quarterback from the next 10 years is going to get overpaid because that's just how this goes. And I think if you are in an opportunity where you have somebody who can be that franchise quarterback, you pay him. I think Caleb Williams, if he doesn't have the greatest season this year, I think we'll still eventually get paid again. And I think he will make a lot of money, probably a lot more money, even if he's not as good as he was advertised to be, because that's just the way the NFL goes.
Dude, I mean, if Caleb is as good as, people are going to think he's going to be, he might be the first guy. And, it might be close. It might be light under, but he might be the first athlete, in the NFL to sign, $1 billion contract. If you think about it, because think about it, guys, the top quarterbacks make what right now? 70, 65? Or is it?
Let me go look up Patrick Mahomes' contract because his is the most AAV, I think, or was. Yeah, so he's on a 10-year, $45 million deal. So, or $450 million deal. So about $45 million per year. I think Love may have passed him now too, actually.
But this isn't 3 years when Caleb we have to pay him. I can see maybe not a bill, but I could see them going 10 years, $700 million. By the time it comes to it, if he's as good as they said, that's probably what the market's going to be. I mean, if Love got 55 a year and that was 2 years ago, in 3 years from now, it's going to be, it's just going to continue to go up. So I don't know. It's going to be crazy.
So let's look at these Packers games later on in the schedule for the Chicago Bears. The first game against the Green Bay Packers, they'll be taking them on at Green Bay in Week 14. That is followed up by then Cleveland in Week 15. And then they are going against Green Bay again in Week 16 in a Monday night or Saturday football contest. Should be interesting. Do you guys like that they're playing the Packers 2 times in 3 weeks?
Get it out the way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with how their schedule's been this year, I'm excited. Like I said before, I'm excited just about the primetime games, and it just seems cool that they're I seen the tweet today. It was they have a game on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this year. That's really cool. So I don't know. I think whatever they do, I wish it was a little more spread just because it's division. Like we said, the first 2 weeks, I wish divisions were a little more spread, those games. But still, at the same time, like Alex said, get them out of the way. And if you get them both, all right, that's 2 wins for the division right there. So
for
it's
sure,
a bittersweet thing,
I get it. I'm not a huge fan of, and they're both at the end of the season there. I would prefer to play them, if we're going to do it in 2 times in 3 weeks, earlier in the season, get it out of the way then instead of later at the end of the season. I think when I was talking about the Packers in my day job last season, when they had the Bears at the very beginning of the season, the Bears at the very end of the season, I was saying that the Packers get kind of screwed up by the fact that the Bears are going to get better by the end of the season last year. And it showed out. They ended up beating the Packers at the end of the season because they were just a better team. Whether or not it was because the head coach was gone, doesn't matter. They just played more disciplined in that game against the Green Bay Packers. I think with this, if I'm the Bears, I'm a little bit worried that the Packers by this point in the season will have what they need to have figured out by that point. And I think this Packers team could potentially be one of the best teams in the entire NFC. And if you're playing them twice at the end of the season when they're at their hottest or at their most prime, that worries me a little bit, that if a team like the Bears is fighting for a playoff spot at that point in the season, that could be really detrimental if you were to lose both those games.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And see, I'm with you. I think the Packers are a really good team too. I think this could be the first time I don't think it's ever happened if every team's made the playoffs in the division, but I think this might be the first year that could really happen. Like last year was a real possibility till like the Bears took a shit and everybody else kind of stayed afloat, But this year, I don't know. I could definitely see it happening if all the guys come through. Like it'll be interesting. I think the one thing that's really going to be like the big question mark is like you guys said with Campbell losing both his coordinators. Like that's insane. To lose one
Right.
sucks, but to lose both of them like in the same offseason, like that is so shit. So yeah, like, it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of comes out of that.
All right, let's go through the Bears' final schedule here before we move on to some Chicago Bulls and NBA talk. Again, they start off their season week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings in Chicago. It's going to be a Monday night football game. Will be super exciting. They follow that up by going to Detroit in week 2. Then they play Dallas at home, then head out to Las Vegas for weeks 3 and 4, have a bye week in week 5. Then they take on Washington in Washington again on Monday Night Football. Hopefully this goes a little bit better than their primetime game against Washington last season. Then they have New Orleans at home, followed by Baltimore and Cincinnati, both away. New York Giants back at home, then over to Minnesota. Then they go to play at home against Pittsburgh. Then they are playing their Black Friday game, Week 13, November 30th, against the Philadelphia Eagles at the Philadelphia Eagles. Then they have their away game against the Green Bay Packers in Week 14, followed by a home game against the Cleveland Browns. Then back against Green Bay at home, followed off to end the season, San Francisco and Detroit to close it out. Final predictions for the Bears record this season with that schedule for you guys real quick before we move on.
8-9.
Gonna say undefeated. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. No, honestly, I would probably go. What is there? Is there 17 now, right? With the extra game, I would probably say 12-5 is my prediction.
All right, Sakleh, would you be happy with 8-9?
No, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, probably. Sadly, knowing the Chicago Bears, that's
if we don't go above 500 this year, I am going to be like,
oh my god,
flabbergasted. It's just going to be sad. Like I know
it
it's
will
not
be
going to happen.
Fucking shocking. Yeah, like honestly, like their win total is at 8.5. DraftKings has their win total at 8.5. So it's like that is where it's predicted. So
I'm taking the under.
All right. We'll see how this goes. I'm excited for the season. This got me really hyped up for Chicago Bears football to come. I don't know if I'm going to be disappointed, hopeless by halfway through the season like I usually am, but I got hope right now. That's all that matters. We are great locker room guys. I'm Charlie Uczen. That's Alex Sakleh in the middle and Nate Burns on the right side. If you guys are just tuning in, you may have missed us talk about the Chicago Bears, but we're going to move on into the Chicago Bulls here. The NBA draft lottery took place just a few nights ago, and the Chicago Bulls didn't really end up being that lucky or as lucky as they could have been. The Dallas Mavericks end up winning the number 1 overall pick, which is kind of shitty because they traded away their future, their franchise, for Anthony Davis, who plays like half a season, and they thought that'd be okay, and they got rewarded for it.
That's what the trade was. Hey, you get rid of Luka, you get Adam Silver is nowhere near as clever as David Stern. David Stern could kind of hide it. Adam Silver just doesn't care.
Yeah, well, you posted on your TikTok account the Chris Paul getting traded. Then the Pelicans got the number 1 overall pick right after they traded Chris Paul. Anthony Davis gets traded, and then the Pelicans get the number 1 overall pick right away. And then now this happens.
The thing about the Luka trade is just you can't justify it in any possible way. Because even say you think the defense is going to be much better with Anthony Davis, which it would, but you still in that scenario to make that an even trade, you still get 3 first-round picks. They only got 1 in 2029.
Right.
Yeah, and here's the problem too: is my biggest issue is, of course, it was the biggest bailout ever. The guy got roasted for the last 2 months or a month, whatever, and then they were like, "Yeah, here's the number 1 pick." I think they had a 1.8% chance, which is total bullshit. But at the same time, it's just funny to me because it's the Mavericks, like, there is no reason a team that was in the finals last year or 2 seasons ago or whatever it was, they should not get the number one pick. That's bullshit. Like, that is totally, like, that's a sham. Like, and I seen today that Adam Schefter was talking about, the NFL possibly having a draft, and
Yep.
it's like, no way. Like, no, like the NBA, I like the idea of it when it works, but it's like it seems like it's always rigged. Even when the Bulls got Derrick Rose, it's like, okay, the odds of these happening, like this should not be happening. Like 1.5% chance. Like, it's just ridiculous.
I don't think tanking happens in pro sports. And I don't know why all these people are so worried about tanking happening. Teams, yes, they can go out there and put bad rosters on the court, but those players are going to try their hardest no matter what. And I understand that there's times where a lot of these teams, a lot of these owners, yes, want a higher pick because there's a star, there's a stud coming into the draft. But at the same time, I haven't seen a true, honestly, professional sports team since the 76ers really put out a team that was there to tank for any of these players. And that 76ers team, the whole process thing was kind of weird too, because Joel Embiid kept getting hurt, because you had Jahlil Okafor who couldn't stay on the court at all. Nerlens Noel kept getting hurt. So yes, they were trying to tank, but it was only in response to all their star players dying every season. Like that's impossible to maintain. So at the same time, I know you want to avoid tanking, but does tanking really exist? Are there really teams? I mean, you look at the NFL last season. I know there was not a lot of great football in those top 10, top 11 picks. But at the same time, I didn't see a single week where the Bears weren't trying their hardest. It was just sucked that 5 straight weeks they lost in the last minute of all those games.
No, dude, yeah, and the NFL, like, it proves year in and year out, like, the team that's supposed to have the number one pick, like 2 weeks left in the season, gives it up. Like, it's happened 2 years in a row. Like, these teams would not. They are literally 2 weeks from having the number one pick in the draft, and instead they win. And it's like, that's the opposite. That's what you should do. I agree with that. Like, here's the thing: if it was the Bears, fuck that. I want them to lose, get the number one pick. But you know what I'm saying? Like, realistically, that's not a problem in the NFL. But in the NBA, there is no reason a team and I know a lot of the shitty teams. Like, and it's like, there is no reason a team with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis should land the number one pick. That is a joke. Like, the Wizards, their star players, yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, exactly. The Wizards are a joke, and they're not tanking, they're just shit. So it's like they should have a top pick. Like, that's not fair. Like, and it's like, I don't know. Like, I really, I hope the NBA, like you guys said, like Adam Silver, I hope he gets a lot of shit for this. Because, like, this is ridiculous. Like, I do not like it for the NBA at all. Because right now, the Mavs are already a playoff team with Irving, and I'm the biggest, like, AD. I've been saying he's made out of glass since we've been in high school, like 100%. Like, I am not an AD fan, but still, AD and Kyrie Irving, like, unless like last year they both go down, they're gonna make the playoffs. Like, even with one of them being healthy, like. So it's like, to now get the number one pick, like the next phenom in Cooper Flag, like, that's, I don't know, is bullshit. Annoying.
I get it, but what are the odds that the Washington Wizards do jack shit with Cooper Flag? What have they shown with top picks that they've gotten in the past? Nothing. I mean, John Wall kept getting hurt for that organization because they had one of the worst training staffs of all time, and they still have one of the worst training staffs of all time. They had a high pick last season. I mean, they've had opportunities. I understand the Wizards have had a lot of bad luck, but the Wizards are also just a really shittily ran organization. And I think that is the excuse for a lot of these teams. I don't think that, it's just that it's bad luck. I think the Wizards have fucked up, and they paid Bradley Beal to be one of the highest paid players in the league when he didn't deserve that at all. And
$1,000,000%.
They draft a guy like Alex Sarr last season when yes, it is fine. It's a good pick in terms of the draft, but at the same time, trade out of that pick because that draft class fucking sucks. Like, these are the things that it's like, it's so easy to fix these franchises and they just don't do it, which is why they don't deserve the first overall pick in my mind.
See, I think I get what you're saying, but, like, at the same time, it's like, you can't hit on these guys unless you truly do get the number one pick sometimes. Like, sometimes, like, number 1 and then 2 through 10 or they're nowhere even close to the number 1 guy. Like, and yes, some of them are, but it's like sometimes, like for instance, like we said, like I know I said last episode, like Cade Cunningham turned that team around. Paulo Banchero, these guys are guys that can average 25 a game. The Wizards have not had that since, they had John Wall, Bradley Beal. That used to be good. Then John Wall, all this stuff would happen, the injuries, everything. But you're right. Like they had a really shit run with signing Bradley Beal, kind of putting themselves in a hole. But at the same time, last year, like, yeah, you had a great pick, but nobody was going to trade up for in this class. Like, I mean, yeah, they could have, but if they were going to, they weren't going to get enough capital. Like, everybody knew the class was shit. So it's like, I feel like the Wizards deserve a shot. Like a team like the Wizards, a team like the Hornets, like they deserve a shot with the number 1 pick, win a draft when it's a good player, like Wemby, when it's like Paulo, when it's like Cooper Flag. Like it's like last year, the Hawks got like the fucked getting the number 1 pick in probably the worst draft class
But the
ever.
Hawks also didn't deserve
Clay Thompsons and
they,
Reece
they, they didn't deserve the first overall pick last year, too. That was a surprise when the Atlanta Hawks got that first overall pick. They were a little bit in the same boat at the Dallas Mavericks. So that's why I'm like, when everybody's like, oh, it's rigged, oh, this is an issue. It's not, though, because like you get these situations, too, where the good teams get the first overall pick and it's shitty still.
To me, I think it's just because the Mavericks got it with what they did on February. If it was like the Bulls or like what's like another team that was like an 11, 12, 13 range, like the Spurs, I know they got like number 2, like, someone like that.
Trailblazers, yeah.
Trailblazers, I'd have no issue. It's just the fact that they did the most dumbfounding trade we've ever seen, the most craziest trade we've ever seen, then somehow get the number 1 overall pick despite having like one of the lowest odds ever. I think it's just because it was them that got it. That's why everyone's so mad. If it was the Blazers or the Bulls, okay, fine. But since it was them getting it after doing what they did, it's just so obvious.
I also think it just points out like a flaw in the system, like the draft process. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, like I used to love the NBA draft lottery. I thought I was like, that's how every sport should be. It's like you don't let teams tank. But then it's like the NFL, like we said, they don't tank. They don't. Like they really don't. Like they want to win every week. And it's like for the NBA, that's the issue. Like I think if they were in like the NFL type of draft, I think there would be tanking 100% in the NBA. I mean, we do see it all the time where it's like guys are like, okay, like they're injured all of a sudden, or what was his face? Oh man, I forget who it was. Somebody this year on a shit team. Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram.
Oh yeah.
He got traded for him, and I even the analyst on ESPN, he was like the Brian Windhorst was like, man, that was the worst sprained ankle of all time because he was out 3 months. Like that's what I'm saying. Like these teams do like not all these teams play to win every game because I think they know where it's like they're gonna get blown the fuck out. I think in the NFL anything can happen. Like in the NBA, it's kind of I don't know. This series with the Knicks obviously is different, but for the most part, and the Cavs for the most part, it's kind of been very upsetty. But normally, it's kind of everyone knows who's going to kind of make it to the finals or kind of get close. So I don't know. That I'm hoping.
Football because people will die.
Yeah, it's too dangerous. Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
it's too. In 2022, we destroyed his career.
Yeah,
he almost died that season. It was terrible to watch.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking to watch. Just see a man get his soul ripped out of his body and his body just physically broken every week.
Well, I mean, how would you guys like to be the Giants? Didn't at one point it was like week 14, they had the number 1 pick, and then they ended up with what, 6 or 5 or whatever, and it's like, and it's like that's what I'm saying. Like I remember towards the end of the season, there were like 5 teams that had the number 1 pick. Like it was crazy. It's like they were just giving it up. So
I get it. All right, let's head back into the NBA draft here. So the reason I wanted to bring up this draft lottery is because the Chicago Bulls were a coin flip away from having this number 1 overall pick potentially. If they they finished the season with the same exact record as the Dallas Mavericks. In order to decide who got the 1.8% or who got the 1.7%, they flipped a coin. The Dallas Mavericks won and got the 1.8%. Do you think that if the Chicago Bulls had gotten that 1.8% and were given the same exact numbers as the Dallas Mavericks, that they still end up with this number one overall pick? Or like, are you fully convinced that this was meant for the Dallas Mavericks to have the number one overall pick?
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance the Bulls would have got this number one pick. Like,
Even though the league loves the Bulls, though. I mean, it's the Chicago Bulls. They're one of the most storied franchise, probably the third most storied franchise in the entire league. Wouldn't you want them to still have a number one overall pick? A guy like Cooper Flagg to reignite the Derrick Rose, the Michael Jordan type talks and discussions.
I think, yeah, I go absolutely in a perfect world, but I think it is too obvious when it's like, okay, like 2 times that they had a -2% chance and they landed the number one pick. Like the D Rose was already a miracle in itself.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, the hometown kid gets drafted the number one. You know what I mean? This, I think it just would have been like, they're like, nah, the Bulls wouldn't have. And honestly, too, yeah, I would love to have Cooper Flag. But at the same time, and I'm sure you guys would agree with this, the Bulls don't deserve Cooper Flag. Like, we really don't. The Bulls need to hit rock bottom. I need to start seeing these games not be sold out. Like, because I'm tired of like the city supporting a mediocre team. And it's like, we're not gonna do shit like getting the 12th pick. Like that is nothing. Like that's I'm sorry, but like it is a dime a dozen when those guys actually can be impactful. You know what I mean? Like and actually make a difference. Like I don't know. The Bulls are. I really have no faith in the Bulls right now. I love the 2 guards, like I said last week, but besides those guys, like there's nobody on this team. Maybe the rookie, but like everybody else is shit. Like sucks. What do you guys think though? Am I just being a Debbie Downer? Like, are you guys like that? Like with the Bulls?
This team
I like the guards and the rookie. That's it.
Right. That's all that I think you can like. Even if you're not a Bulls fan, you look at this roster and you're like, wow, I just fucking hate that, man. Like that's tough. I would not want to be a Bulls fan in that situation. But part of the problem is they put so much into getting Alonzo Ball and Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan to come to this town. How the hell are they supposed to fix this without blowing it all up? And at the same time, there's still players on this team that I think could be helpful. The only problem is now that a guy like Josh Giddey is asking for 5 years, $150 million in free agency, which the Chicago Bulls are not going to fucking pay him. I don't want them to fucking pay him that because he wasn't good before he got to Chicago with this. So that's my biggest thing. The Bulls did end up with the number 12 pick in the NBA draft this year. If you look at some of these mock drafts, a lot of the players that are getting mocked to the Chicago Bulls are all very similar archetypes. You get Jace Richardson in this one mock draft. The next mock draft that I'm looking at here, you have Carter Bryant out of Arizona, 6'8" freshman. He's a forward along with Jace Richardson, a guy like that. The next one I'm looking at, you get Igor Demon, the forward out of BYU. You're getting a lot of forwards in this type of scenario where they're doing these mock drafts for the Chicago Bulls. Is that where you would be looking, or what other positions would you want to attack in this draft class if you're the Bulls?
Center. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Alex. Center. And it would be so fucking Bulls to draft a point guard. Like, I could just see them drafting a guard. Like, they're like, yeah, he's really good, though. Like, I'm like, we got fucking 7 of them.
If they draft a point guard, some children will be traumatized.
No, honestly, because here's the thing. Like, I know you guys don't like. I am definitely on the lone island of like I do like Giddey. Like I was happy when they traded.
Would you pay him 150? Are you paying him $25 million a year though? That's nuts.
Yeah. Oh, $1 million? No, 1,000,000%. Like, and I'm telling you guys why. Because like the average with how much point guards are making now, like 1,000,000%. The dude's a walking triple double, like 100%. And towards the end of the year, he was shooting lights out too. Like he's only 23 years old, a 6'8" point guard. Like absolutely, that is a dude that I would 100% pay and be happy with.
He's the best point guard we've had since D Rose.
Yeah, he's a baller, dude. Like the dude can do everything. And I love Kobe too. Like I just like that's what I'm saying. Like them two and Matas are like the only 3 Bulls players that I actually like. Like everybody else, like we all talked about Patrick Williams, that piece of shit. Like get him out of here. Like and then they have a bunch of bench guys like Jalen Smith, Kevin Huerter, so it's just like a really underwhelming team. I feel like there's no guy that's just like flashy, that's like gonna make a superstar play. Like, yeah, Kobe might drop 35 points, but it's like, I don't know. They need to hit rock bottom. I'm kind of with you, but they're not in that position totally. Like, they're almost there. If they get rid of Vooch and I feel like they could hit rock bottom this year, they might have a really shit record, but I don't know. Like, that's just kind of where I'm at with them. I think they're many years out.
And I get that. And I think most people would be in agreement with you on them being many years out. But also in the NBA, you can change your fortunes in the matter of a season. I think you've seen a lot of teams do that in one. I mean, the Clippers were able to turn basically nothing, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander before he was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, into Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I mean, you can flip your season around. And a team like the Chicago Bulls, who are in as large of a market with as much history, I think you are able to kind of change your fortunes in the matter of an offseason if you play it right. Problem is, Arturas Karnisovas is running the fucking show, and he is the biggest idiot I've ever seen run any professional sport franchise, which really makes me mad because I've said this before, but Nate, when he was hired, when we were doing our show, we were hyped about it. We thought he was going to be great. We were like, him and Billy Donovan are going to save this franchise. They're going to turn us back into the 90s, and then they sucked ass, and he made a bunch of bad decisions. And then they gave Billy Donovan a contract extension under the table that really pissed off fans because you want to be transparent about that type of stuff. Do you think that they can turn it around as long as AK is running the show? And how much longer do they give AK before he's not running the show anymore?
Yeah, I'm with you, Charlie. Like, I don't really have any faith in that dude anymore. Like, I feel like the moves he's made, it's just been stupid. And it's like one after the next. And it's like, the Patrick Williams extension, I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but that one was like the icing on the cake for me, where I'm like, what? Like, you could finally cut ties and be like, admit it was a shit, get rid of him. And they extend him, they reward him. So it's like, I don't really have any faith in him. I agree with you. I definitely think that
Oh.
we were getting to the good part there. He got out here.
Climax.
Exactly. We were almost there. He's going to hype us up, tell us about what the future of the Chicago Bulls team was going to be. We'll see if he comes back on here. But I think, one of the things that I wanted to get into about this conversation is that, no, I don't think AK can do just whatever it's.
Yeah!
We got him back.
We're back.
We thought you died or something. Like, so
some
exploded.
Some person called me and it screwed up my whole thing. I'm like, great.
Get back into it. What were you saying?
All right. Someone refresh me. Give me a recap. What were we just saying? I'm like,
we were talking about what the Bulls need to do.
No. I just think I don't know. I think that they need to get rid of Vooch. Obviously, Vooch had a really solid year. As much as I talked so much shit about that dude over the years, but he had a really good year last year. But I think they got to get rid of him and just kind of start fresh and kind of go with that team. I feel like a team, even though I do like Giddey and Kobe White, they will not lead the Bulls to a great record. There's no way. So eventually they will be that sub maybe minus 20 win team. And I think, once they get that, I do think it's more likely in the years for the Bulls, like you were saying before, Charlie, to land the number one pick and be like, let's get a guy to Chicago. I just feel like that, right now, they don't have many pieces. They don't have anything to trade. They really, they have no valuable pieces where teams would be like, we'll give you picks or, and we don't have picks to give. We have first round, but our picks are always shit. Nobody wants the 12th pick. So
unless you're taking Giannis Antetokounmpo and developing him into Giannis at number 12, then there's very little chance that pick ends up being anything worthwhile, or at least a superstar of that fashion.
Right.
I mean, this Bulls team, and when you talk about trading Vucevic, I think the biggest problem that you're going to run into is that you're right. People don't want them. And that the only way you're going to get rid of a Vucevic is by taking a loss. The only way you get off of a Patrick Williams contract is by taking a loss. I mean, when they traded Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, that was viewed to most people as a loss. That just the bare front of the what that trade was. Alex Caruso at the time was a better player than Josh Giddey. And I don't think you're going to find a much better trade than that. And I think with this Bulls team, what we have to kind of expect is that they are going to be bad this season, that they are probably going to play whoever they draft at number 12 overall here a ton. And he's probably going to suck, and it's probably going to make us really sad. But at the same time, at least they're going to suck. I don't want them to be in the middle anymore. I just want them to choose a direction. If you are going to be bad and you are going to move on from this iteration of the team, then do it. If you want to compete and you want to be